God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Hurd,
Yes.
Hayward,
Here.
Hill,
Yes.
Shar,
Here.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Hannah.
Yes.
Thank you. I need an emotion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Motion by Scharf,
Second.
second by O'Loughlin. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion is carried. We're down to public comment. The only person we have signed in was Fred Miller, and I can't read what it is you said you wanted to talk to us about. I should say, at this time, set aside for visitors and public comments only on topics of city business other than those listed on tonight's agenda. Please understand the council cannot take any action on your comments at this meeting due to requirements of the open meeting law, but may do so at a future meeting. Each speaker will be allowed a maximum of 5 minutes to state their comments, and we thank you for your cooperation.
Thank you, Fred Miller, 48 10th Street Northeast. If it'd be possible, maybe to speak on this later, but it's on the disposal of the fire truck. I would like to see it stay in the community, if not kept with city property. I think it would be an important piece of equipment to have for washing down after floods, when we have floods. And, you know, the other departments could use it. And for probably what the city would get out of it, I think it could be well used here in the city.
So that was truck, not, okay.
Yep.
I wasn't sure what that word was. Sorry.
Fire truck.
Okay, well, when we get that out on the agenda, I'm sure, since you made your point, we will be discussing that.
Okay, thank you, Council.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Fred. Okay, next I need a motion to accept and approve the consent agenda that approves the following: the minutes of the March 11th, 2019 regular and special meeting, financials for the month of January, budget and monthly transfers for the month of January and February, the music station Class E liquor license April 29th, 2019 through April 28th, 2020, and Shaheen Tidball Post number 30 Class C liquor license March 17th, 2019 through March 16th, 2020.
So moved.
Motion by Scharf,
Second.
second
I
by
have a question
Kurt.
about that. For
You do?
the bills, we must have gotten some fuel.
Do what?
We got some fuel, yes, at the airport. Yeah, we took a tanker load of 100 low lead.
We're not on the claims yet. We're doing
Oh.
the consent agenda,
That was on there too. All
okay?
right, I can wait.
And I have a first and a second for that, so all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried, and now we are down to approving the claims for payment. If you have a question for that?
Yeah, so that fuel we got, do we have any estimate, like how long that's gonna last? Or how many gallons we got or
Well,
whatever?
we got 7,500 gallons, roughly. There was 1,280 gallons in the tank when we put that in, so I hope that gets us most of the way through the summer. This will be our busiest time for fuel sales coming up, but with the temperature changes and what have you, we don't want the tanks to sweat either, you know, to have any condensation. So it's best if we keep them closer to full.
Okay, thanks.
I don't believe I heard a motion to approve claims.
I'd make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Kurt, second by Hill. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Thank you. Next on the agenda then is fiscal year 2019 budget amendments, setting the date of public hearing. Motion to set the date for April 8th, 2019 at 6:30 p.m. in City Hall Council Chambers for the approval of the fiscal year 2019 budget amendment and budget transactions.
So moved.
Motion by Hill,
Second.
second by Scharf. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion is carried. Next, we're down to petitions from the public, and our speaker is Mr. Lake from Buchanan County Economic Development. You brought your staff with you, thank you. If you both want to introduce yourselves and.
Yeah, well, good evening. George Lake with Buchanan County Economic Development. I'd like to introduce Lisa Kramer. She's the communication manager for our organization. She's the one that handles our website, our social media, writes the press releases, and she reminds me of stuff that I'm supposed to do.
Your right-hand person.
I greatly appreciate Lisa's participation in our organization. It certainly enables us to do a lot more things more efficiently. So, anyway, for our annual report, I know we've got a lot of stuff on the agenda, and so I'll try and keep this brief. Al was teasing me earlier about how much time he's going to let me speak, so I'll try and
Did
keep
you set
it
the
short.
clock? We're just kidding.
Yeah. No, I don't think so. Anyway, I'll keep it kind of short here. As well as for those folks out in TV land, Buchanan County Economic Development was established in 1995. We're a countywide organization, and our our main purpose is to facilitate economic development activities in Buchanan County. And that covers a wide range of spectrum. Now, who determines our activities? My board of directors is comprised mostly of the mayors of Buchanan County and the county's board of supervisors. We meet 10 times a year. We have a strategic planning session every few years that determines our goals and activities. And if you want to say, what do we do here? I've got 6 pages of stuff here, and I promise I'm not going to go over the entire thing. Just very briefly, though, our board of directors determined 6 areas of focus that we need to look at. Number 1, support for our existing businesses. You know, I could write a wonderful press release and saying that 200 new jobs are coming to Buchanan County. And those people would say, well, where's the business coming in from? What are they going to do? And those are just the new jobs that have been created in Buchanan County in the last year. And so our focus really is on the existing business. And hand in hand with that goes workforce. As you all know, or you probably know, we have businesses in Buchanan County that are turning work away because of the difficulty of finding the workforce they need. Now, the next thing is support for our communities, attracting and growing new businesses, communicating pertinent information. And this is a new one that I've worked in 3 different counties in economic development. And this is the first time that I had anyone on my boards throw in an organizational self-review, looking at ourselves as an organization, and we do that a couple times a year. We review our strategic plan. What are we doing? What are we not doing? What can we do better? Okay, now to delve into the report. In the inside of your packet, there's a sheet here. It says demographics in Buchanan County. I'd like you to look at that, and that's where I'm going to focus most of my 3.5 minutes, Al. So if you flip it over on the back side, up in the upper right-hand corner, I did a demographic comparison with Buchanan County and the 3 surrounding rural counties. And I'd like to start off by saying that we're really doing pretty well in Buchanan County. And last year, the U.S. Census Bureau did a census extrapolation of the entire nation. And 73 of Iowa's 99 counties lost population. 73. And in about the 15, 16 county area of northeast Iowa, other than the urban counties, Buchanan County and Bramer counties are the only counties that gained population. And so, once again, we're doing pretty well. And if you look at this, I compared Buchanan County to Delaware, Benton, and Fayette County. And right across the board, our population increased only by 1.2%. But some of the counties lost over 5% of their population in the last 7 years. Now, I highlighted a couple of things in red boxes, and the one is the percentage change in population. The next one down, the median age, Buchanan County's median age is 38.5. Once again, it's as much as 5 years younger than our surrounding counties. We've got a younger population, we have more kids, our schools are growing and they're expanding, and so once again, we're doing pretty well. Now, look down at the bottom of that chart, and I'm going to put this up on Facebook tomorrow, or Lisa will, right, Lisa? Yes, correct. Anyway, but every year Iowa State does a retail trade analysis of every community in the state, and they also do it by county. And if you look at the retail trade analysis compared to Delaware, Benton, and Fayette County, you know, we've done as much as $30 million more of retail trade than the other 3 counties. And the final item down there, new housing starts. Benton County did have more new housing starts from 2013 to 2017, but there was 253 new housing starts in Buchanan County over that period of time. So once again, we're doing pretty well. Now, if you look immediately to the left of that chart, I have a listing of like the top 15 or 20 Buchanan County's largest employers. And there's been a lot of talk about the new battery plant up in Owine, which is great, that eventually they're going to be hiring over 400 people. Right now, they're around 300 people from what I understand. Gator Manufacturing, as of 3 months ago, they had 436 employees. And I know they've been hiring since then, so I don't know how many they have right now. If you jump down the 5th one down, Priest Enterprises, they're up to 200 employees. Their workforce has almost doubled in the last 2 years. Now, if you hop down farther down, look at Wapsie Valley Creamery. Now, they've got 88 employees, and their numbers haven't changed a lot in the last 3 or 4 years. But what has changed, as you very well know, is their investment in infrastructure. You know, they've over $20 million of new construction and new equipment. Now, it hasn't led to a lot of new employees being hired because they're building efficiency. They're putting in automation. They're becoming a much more clean and efficient operation. And so, and if you look on right on down the line, there's companies from throughout the county. And so I'll say again that for the people who says that we're not doing well, we are. And I think all of the communities need to be proud of what's being taken place. Now, the next thing I do want to talk about very briefly is in terms of workforce, the companies that are our existing companies and our new companies. You know, 2 weeks ago, we had a career fair. Twice a year, we sponsor a career fair, and we typically have anywhere from 16 to 13 businesses attend. And our goal is to try and attract new business or new employees for these people. If you look at this demographic chart again, down on the front, on the lower left-hand corner, that green chart, this illustrates the workforce for Buchanan County. Now, if you notice that we've got about 3,000 people that live and work in Buchanan County. We have about 3,000 people that come into Buchanan County to work. But we have about 6,000 people that leave Buchanan County on a weekly basis to work elsewhere. And so when we're recruiting our career fairs, those are the people that we are targeting. You know, for 7 years I commuted to Marion. I so appreciate being able to work back in town. And if we can attract some of those folks to look at the job opportunities here in Buchanan County, it's going to be beneficial for all. I do want to touch on one other item. Now, periodically I get people saying, why are you trying to recruit new businesses into Buchanan County? The workforce is tight. We've got about 250 kids that graduate every year from our high schools. And the vast majority of them go someplace else to work. I mean, I could highlight my own 3 children about that, but they'd smack me around saying, what are you talking about me on TV for? So I won't. But if we can attract different types of jobs into Buchanan County, dealing with technology, for instance, or dealing with advanced mechanics or whatever, that would help. In terms of workforce, we've been working, Buchanan County Economic Development, we brought all the school superintendents and principals, plus Dunkerton, and we had a roundtable discussion with Hawkeye Community College and with Iowa Workforce Development on implementing what's called an Apprenticeship Plus program. And what this does, it's to connect high schools directly with manufacturers and businesses to enable them to participate, in many cases, paid apprenticeships while they're in high school. Now, what sets this apart, as you know, if you're under 18 years of age, you can't operate equipment. Under the apprenticeship program, they can. So we're in the process of implementing that so we can get the kids when they're in high school and introduce them to the businesses here in Buchanan County. Now, the other things here, like I said, there's a lot of stuff that we do, and I could go on and on and on about that because I'm very proud of what our organization does. But economic development, there's no magic switch. It's a matter of building a base of operations, approaching it from many different directions. So we do our career fairs. We put on workshops for businesses. You know, the majority of the businesses in Buchanan County, their HR person is usually the wife of the guy that's out in the shop banging metal around. And so we put on a series of workshops throughout the year, mostly dealing with HR issues. How do you motivate your employees? You know, what's the hiring process that you use to make yourself successful? We've got another workshop coming up in mid-April on customer service. You know, I'm amazed. I call up businesses and I get, hello. It's not like, you know, George Lake, Buchanan County Economic Development, it's hello. I'm thinking, good gracious. That phone call is the entryway for businesses to new customers. So anyway, that's what I do to keep myself from falling asleep during the daytime and a lot of times in the evenings as well. Do you have any questions, suggestions? And the one thing I do want to say, in terms of the housing needs assessment that we did last year, I think Independence has seen the benefit of that tremendously with the 48. Literally the day after I released it, I got the phone call from Echo Development in Cedar Falls saying, I like the numbers, I want to come over and show me around. And the result is they're putting up that 48-unit apartment house complex. Skogman, I sent out information to over 200 builders and developers around the state. Kyle Skogman, whom I worked with down in Cedar Rapids when I was in Marion, he gave me a call and he says, these numbers look pretty good. I want to come up and see what you have. And the result is, he says 14 houses. I'll say 12 to 14 new houses going up where the high school used to be. So anyway,
Good.
yes, sir.
Have we aligned ourselves with some of the universities to gain some of the tech jobs you're talking about to keep the?
Well, when we
young
did the
people?
career fair, I sent information out to all the surrounding, you know, Iowa State, Mount Mercy, Upper Iowa University, the community colleges, to try and attract some of those people. One of the things that we're doing right now, we're working with Hawkeye Community College, and they're developing a new computer engineering program. And they asked me to find some business people that are out there working, so I've lined up 3 business people from Buchanan County and working with Hawkeye Community College to create a curriculum that is actually being used by businesses. And so, yeah, we're making the efforts, and the idea is that the chicken and the egg with Hawkeye Community College, Iowa does have a very aggressive program with the community colleges working with businesses. And so from the standpoint, when we go out and we meet with businesses, we can say, look, here's the curriculum that Hawkeye Community College has for their technology department. If you come here, you can partner with them. When I was down in Marion, we got a new company, a Polish plastics manufacturer that came into Marion. And through funding through the community college system, we sent 3 people to Poland for 5 weeks to learn how to operate the equipment, so that when they came back, when the company was up and running, they could operate the equipment, but also teach their other employees on how to operate the equipment. And so those programs are available. And once again, if we have a In Hawkeye Community College, they recognize they need to upgrade and improve their system. So when we talk with businesses, we always show them what Hawkeye Community College has, in addition to the other state universities as well.
Because UNI has a program every summer that they have the surrounding businesses, John Deere, Tyson, et cetera,
Right.
15 of the largest ones in their area, where they bring in what they want from new employees. And they also bring in skill streaming, things that they can implement within the coursework at UNI to build that.
Yeah, and there's an apprenticeship program through the state of Iowa that I'm going to be sending information out to businesses that if they, and it's for a very specific manufacturing technology, that businesses, for instance, and I'll use Gator Manufacturing because they've advertised the fact that they've used that, they will hire apprentices in the state of, and they are guaranteed a wage of $15 an hour. These are college kids. The manufacturer pays half the wage and the state of Iowa pays the other half of the wage. And the idea is to get kids into our local manufacturers and businesses. And there are other companies in Buchanan County that have taken advantage as well. I'm just highlighting Gator because they've been in the news about it. So, yes, sir.
Has there been any movement by Hawkeye Community to bring back a satellite? We had good luck with hiring kids that were they were up to, I think, 2 classes short of being able to get their AA degree out here when they were in town. And we had good luck with hiring kids for second or even first shift while they went to school here in town.
Well, I would agree. It was disappointing when Hawkeye closed their center out where, of course, that enabled the police to have a place where they could hang their hats. But yeah, it was disappointing when Hawkeye closed their center out near Walmart, and they are now incorporated into the school. And I've asked them that, and they said until the monetary demographics changed a little bit, they're not going to do that. You know, it'd be nice, and this is me talking. I know I'm going to get in trouble for this. This is me talking like they've done up at Owine. The community college built a separate wing of their campus and connected it to the high school. And I think that would be sweet if they did that here in town. All right, so I'm going to get in trouble, but what the heck? I think it's a good idea.
George, do you know how many of the places out there, the 48 units that they have already spoken for?
They've, I don't know that. I just spoke with Corey Hinkie today, and they're getting a fair amount of activity.
Good.
So, thanks, folks.
Thank you, George.
Good job, George.
Next on the agenda is the Pony Express, and did we get their insurance yet for that?
We haven't received it yet, so if we were to approve, we'd ask that you would approve it, given that we received that insurance before the event.
Okay. The one thing that caught my attention with their application for a special event was that they do this at the bank corners, and they were requesting that we have the lights flashing during this event. And I'm not sure, since that's a state highway, whether we wouldn't need to get approval from the DOT in order to do that. That's something new they've asked, but there's a new individual that's doing this, and I don't see her out there. So that's something you might want to discuss or when you make your motion to approve this event. It's from 9 to 1. They set up at 8:30 for, what's the date of their event? April 19th. April 19th is when they'll do it. So.
Who would need to contact the state for that?
Well, when we've had other events, I know for the parade and stuff, Brinkema is the one that usually has to line that up for us to be able to have our parade, so I don't know.
Wasn't it like a 30-day, you had to get approved 30, that's what it used to be. I don't know if
Yeah.
they've changed that or not.
Yeah.
But you know, this got brought up a long time ago about the lights. And they talked about, first it was yellow flashing lights, and then they wanted red flashing lights. And we had some opposition, not so much with the people in town, Benita, but
Yeah.
truck drivers and stuff coming through.
Yeah.
And his opinion, and he wasn't upset or anything, but he'd heard about this, and he said, well, if they have their people there like they normally do, and people are gonna give, they're gonna give. And if they reach out a little bit instead of just stand there and, and walk down a little bit, if people are gonna give, they're gonna give. But, like I said, it used to be 30 days that we had to get approval at one time, it used to be. But I'm not all for that flashing light thing.
I'm concerned of the safety part of it, for us to do that as a flashing with semis and stuff like that particularly, so. It's set up for you to make a motion if you want to approve this, motion to whatever, you want to fill in the blank for that, and then it will be a roll call vote.
I'll make a motion that we approve their request, not with the change, leave the lights the way they are, and with the proof of insurance received at a time.
I'd second that.
Okay, motion by Hayward, seconded by Kurtz. You ready? Is there any other discussion or input from any of you on that? Okay, roll call.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Shire,
Yes.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Thank you, the motion is carried. You'll make sure she's aware of that.
yes.
Okay. Next on the agenda is waste management introductions discussion. If you gentlemen want to come up and introduce yourselves. And
Honorable Mayor, members of the council, my name is Jane Eason. I'm Public Sector Services with Waste Management for the City of Independence.
My name is Justin Painter. I am the new route manager for Independence. I took over from Jim Mendez.
Okay.
Yeah, we're here tonight to introduce you to Justin and also to talk about some of the service issues that we have had this winter. For years we've prided ourselves on providing great service to the City of Independence. It's our home hauling site for our home city for our hauling site in Independence. All of our employees are either from the City of Independence or the surrounding communities, so they take great pride. This winter, it's been a tough winter, but we aren't here to make excuses. Everybody's had the weather, but there were some decisions that were made that were poor decisions, and I'm here to assure you that we've got some processes in place to improve some communication, and there have been some disciplinary measures. I'm not throwing Justin under the bus. He was actually in his training process when the decisions were made. This was made from one level above Justin. So I've got all the confidence in the world in Justin. So
I think the thing that, at least I heard from citizens, was that there's no communication when there's a problem with pickup, that it's kind of like the garbage can was just there, and I guess, do you have something in place to call the city, or?
we have a process in place to call the city. That's one part of our communication. Maintenance wasn't communicating with the managers. So if a truck was going down, we have hauling sites throughout Iowa where we could get a spare truck in time if they were just to communicate together. But yeah, as far as communicating with Al, yeah, we have a call, but Al will be getting a call from either Justin or myself going forward at the earliest opportunity.
Because I think people understood when it's 40 below wind chill, it's just, they just would like to know if there was not going to be service that day.
And we'll absolutely improve on that.
well, not only of not service, but what the alternative is. I mean, does it just delay it a day, or what your method is of dealing with that? So
It would be like for weather and such, it would be a one-day delay.
okay, so it'd just be the following.
Unless that next day turns into another blizzard, then it would, but we would inform. And
Okay.
when we talk to Al, we'll definitely inform him of what we've got going on our plan of attack to recover the stops.
Do you have a local number if citizens are on a weekend and stuff questioning this, that they would be able to get an answer, or would the phone even be manned over the weekends, or how
For
does
the
that work
residents?
out for you? Yeah,
Yeah, for the residents, they would call our customer service. We have what we call a Green Pages system. it's got information on every city that we service. So if there's a service alert in there, the customer service will be able to let them know if their city's been delayed.
Would you like to share that number with us?
Absolutely. It's a 1-888-960-0008.
Okay? So that's available to all citizens if
That's
something-
available.
They have
It
a
is-
question and they'd be able to get that answer. You used to put out, I know I have the problem with the, all the time for the date, because your collection for recycle is only every other week
Every
and
other week.
stuff. As to what areas of the city get it and what days they have that. Do you still have those kind of things available, or is there a place on an email where they could make a copy of
We
that?
could actually
or-
make it available on the city website, and I know we do provide
Okay.
calendars to Indytel
Okay.
for their service dates.
Do you get a
Okay.
person when you call this number?
What's that?
Do you get a person?
Yes.
When you call this
get a
number?
person. I don't know how nice they'll be, but you get a person.
Is there
kidding,
questions from any of the council members that you would like to have, that we
I
haven't
have
covered
several
already?
friends that work for Waste Management, and one of them is a mechanic, and he was telling me that some of the problems they were having was the brand-new trucks were breaking down, not the old trucks, which really had everybody frustrated
Yeah,
because
a lot of
they're still under
electrical issues-
warranty.
Yeah, a lot of electrical issues cause a lot of our problems. Even today, I want to apologize for being late. Actually, today I had 2 side load trucks go down that run your City of Independence. And I had a third one that it took us a while to get it up and running. So my drivers ran out of hours. So I actually went out myself, and that's why I did like the last 2 hours, jumped in the truck, went out there and picked up kind of what they told me they missed. I mean, I hope I got them all. I apologize if I didn't get them all. I'll get them taken care of. But I mean, like I said, I want to make sure we're taking care of you guys. That's our number one goal.
Yeah,
So
you're
if
at,
their trash doesn't get picked up, do they just leave it for the next day, hoping it will get picked up?
If it doesn't get picked up on their day of service, have them call us. I mean, whether it's I come out personally, I send a driver out personally, we will get it taken care of.
and you're absolutely right about the new trucks. The mechanic is, it's usually about a 1-year break for all the trucks we get in. Some of the CNG trucks that we run up north, it's even worse.
I think normally you guys do a really great job, and I think everybody is pretty understanding about the weather issues. It was just not knowing was the
Yeah.
biggest issue, I think.
And I think we've got some systems in place now. We're gonna be far, I know Justin's gonna be, he's already proven himself to be far more customer centric, so.
It's awesome.
I think that's what they were wanting, so. We really appreciate you coming tonight and making the introduction, so got a face with the person on the other end of the phone. So if there's no other questions,
I
we,
had one, Al, you'd mentioned for our cleanup day, are we set with talking with Waste Management?
We are.
Okay.
Yes, we're set for June 8th from 7 to noon with Waste Management, also with Terniers for the metal recycling, with Midwest Recovery for our electronics, and Cyan Charlie's for tires. Although Cyan Charlie's on the tire will be 8 to 12,
and what's the time otherwise for the rest of that?
7 to 12.
7 to 12.
We also have shred day at the library. So it really all worked out nicely this year to get everything on the same day, and I
Yes.
appreciate that, Jay.
Not a problem. We'll be ready.
Sounds great. Thank you very much for coming. Really
Thanks for
appreciate
coming.
I
it.
appreciate your time. And
Welcome aboard.
We'll live up to the expectation.
Yeah, we'll try not to be
And if
too
I
bad
don't-
on
If we
you.
don't, I'm gonna leave a stack of
Yeah.
cards here.
Oh,
Feel
good.
free to take your card.
When I get some, I'll get them over to you.
Okay,
We appreciate being your home-based city.
yes.
Well, we appreciate you guys being our own city, so. All right, thank you very
Thank
much.
you,
guys.
thank you very much. Next on the agenda is Wapsie Valley Creamery event application.
Wapsie Valley Creamery wants to close a street for, in essence, 2 days. They have to bring in a crane to do some work, and we felt it would be most appropriate to have the council approve closing that street. We had enough time to get it in front of you. I think it's a pretty straightforward request and project on the 27th and 28th.
They've done that before.
They have. I hate to call it routine, but it would be fairly common.
I'd make the motion and we approve it.
Okay. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion from Hill, second by Kurtz to approve the application from Watsy Valley Creamery to close down the street for the 27th and 28th. Any other discussion, question?
No calls to City Hall that anybody's against it, or?
Haven't heard anything from anyone.
Do you need a roll call?
Sure.
Yes, you do. Okay, thank you.
Hayward,
Yes.
Hale,
Yes.
Scharf,
Yes.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Kurt,
Yes.
Thank you. Motion is carried. Next on the agenda is the airport dedication special event. Diane, did you want to come to speak on that?
I'm here on behalf of the Connell family and the airport board to invite everybody to our event of the rededication for the airport. It's going to be April 13th from 1 to 3. You'll be getting a flyer or some sort of an email invite as well. I just wanted to make sure that everybody had their calendars marked for that prior to getting that. The new signs that we ordered, all paid for by private donations. Thank you very much to everyone that contributed. Should be installed hopefully this week. Shadow had a baby last weekend. His wife had a baby. They had a baby. So he was a little busy and didn't get to the signs. So, and hopefully the ground will be thawed well enough that it won't be a big issue getting them put in. And hopefully we're going to do the wall of recognition. It's designed to be as a tribute in the history of the airport and a tribute to Jim Connell, so that a kid 30 years from now can walk into the airport and know what the airport has been and what it is now and who to thank for it. I think you'll all be really amazed at how well the wall turned out. It's not installed yet, but the projections of it are absolutely beautiful. Anyone wishing to attend is welcome as far as the public goes. Anybody that knows Jim, certainly the council. I hope to see everybody's smiling faces there. And Jim's been recognized nationally. It's time that he gets the community appreciation that he deserves as well. So, is there any questions?
1 to 3, is this like a cookout thing or?
No, it's,
strictly-
there'll be light refreshments. I don't think it's been hammered out whether it's cake or cookies yet. Don't expect much because we're paying for it, so.
No, that's fine.
You know, there you go. I'm not sure really what we've decided on, but there will be something there.
You said it was more or less like an open house.
Yeah, just come and go, and, you know, it's just come wish Jim well, so. Any other questions?
Sounds good. Appreciate
right.
you coming and presenting this for us.
Not a problem. I got designated, so. Before I leave, I just want y'all, because I'm going to go home and watch the rest of the meeting. I really wish you guys would speak into the mics. And thank you, Dick, for fixing the back feed that was on the speakers, because I couldn't even hear you in here.
Tonight?
So, just so you know, it ain't fixed yet.
Okay.
So,
All right. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you.
Wow.
Okay, next on the agenda is motion to approve a preliminary resolution for the 2019 street improvement project.
Good evening, Brian Crawford, Crawford Engineering. So this item and actually the next 3 resolutions on the agenda initiate the special assessment process for the 2019 street improvement. That project, the scope of that project is the reconstruction of 10th Street Southwest from 6th Avenue East to the end of the public street, 630 feet east of 6th Avenue, and 5th Avenue Southwest from First Street south to Second Street. So it's about the equivalent of 3 blocks reconstruction. The preliminary construction cost estimate's $272,000 and change. These proposed assessments would handle about 55,000 of that, or about 20%. Any questions? I'd be happy to address those when it's appropriate to do so.
Is this one we discussed last week at Intercog?
This will be the following years.
Oh,
And yeah, as
okay.
the mayor alluded to, we just presented a project that would take care of 17 blocks of rehab rather than reconstruction for the I think it's fiscal 2021, so it could be constructed as soon as the fall of next year. This project will be constructed the fall of this year.
I'd make a motion to approve the resolution.
Okay,
I'd
motion by
second it.
Kurtz, second by O'Loughlin. We need a roll call.
Hill,
Yes.
Shar,
Yes.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Kurt,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes.
Thank you, motion carried. The next one, approving and adopting preliminary plans. See if I got on the right one here. Motion to approve and adopt preliminary plans and specification estimate of cost and plan and schedule for the 2019 street improvement project.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Hill, second by Kurtz. Is that right? Roll call?
Shar,
Yes.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Kurt,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Thank you, motion carried. Next is the proposed resolution necessity. Motion to hold public hearing on the proposed resolution necessity on April 22nd, 2019 at 6:30 PM at City Hall.
So moved.
Motion by Kurtz,
Second.
second by Hayward. Roll call, please.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Kurt,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Shar,
Yes.
Thank you, motion is carried.
Just for clarification, this is not the actual resolution of necessity, this is
proposed.
proposed. So that,
Did I say it different, wrong?
no, you did fine, but just,
Okay,
we have to have all the bids and all the assessments before
Yeah.
we can have a,
yeah.
Yes, there'll
Okay.
be notices that go out to the property owners between now and that public hearing, and there'll also be 2 notices that are published consecutively in the local papers. Between now and then, Gina's got a good handle on all that. And then we will have the public hearing, and then you will adopt the
resolution of necessity.
resolution of necessity. You
Sounds
got it.
good.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks a
Thanks,
lot.
Brian.
Next on the agenda is a motion to approve a resolution that outlines firefighter EMT training reimbursement agreement payment.
We have had, with the termination of the first responder program, we had discussed those firefighters who have successfully completed the EMT training, received their certification, passed their tests and what have you. We also have some who are still in repayment, if you will, of their original agreement. Either they hadn't reached the full repayment or they had not passed their certification. This resolution really outlines the 3 circumstances that we've encountered with the firefighters and would authorize us to reimburse those who did successfully complete it. Also allows us to enter into a repayment agreement with those who still owe the city additional funds for their program for not completing it.
How many have completed it?
4 completed it, I believe it is. Dick is hiding back there. And I think there was a total of 5 who have to repay the city. 4 of them completed everything but the final exam. And they had until March 20th to do that, so we've passed that date. And now we know who will or will not meet that criteria.
I make motion.
So we're asking to pay back the 4, but not the 5 people.
Correct. I mean, the ones that did not reach the certification, that was part of the agreement.
Right.
They did not meet that criteria, so regardless of what we do with the first responder program, you know, we already had that agreement in place. We just wanted to capture it all, so we have all of those affected in one place, so there's no confusion as to how we move ahead with
I
them.
guess I'm confused by reading this. I thought they paid for their portion of it already.
The agreement was, the city paid for it, the firefighter was reimbursing the city 50%. If they did not pass the certification, they were going to reimburse the other 50% at the time, you know, if they weren't able to reach that certification. So for those that did become certified, of the 1,850, 925 would be reimbursed to them. One of those that we reimburse had not completed his $925, so it'd be something less than that would be reimbursing them. The ones that did not pass have the $925 that they owe the city because we paid for that, plus whatever they had not completed in their reimbursement of the original 50%. And each one is a little bit different.
Yeah, make a motion.
I'll make the second.
Need a roll call on this one.
Hannah,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Scharf,
Yes.
O'Loughlin.
Yes.
Thank you, motion is carried.
Before we move on, have any of these firefighters expressed interest in going to work part-time for area ambulance or anything like that?
They've all been made aware of the opportunity, and I guess I'd leave it up to them as to what their level of interest is, but they're all aware of it.
Dick, have you had any interest from any of the guys?
I think currently I'd say zero interest in anybody wanting to go to work part-time for area ambulance. Reason being is not so much that they don't want to help the citizens, what they don't want to do is they don't want to be put on a schedule. So when they were answering calls for the fire department, it was just as on and as needed. They could go do what they wanted to do and everything else. They don't want to be committed on it. I mean, they've got their own 40 to 50 hour a week job. They don't want to be doing the extra on schedule on top of that. Where, okay, now I'm tied to my house, I can't go anywhere, I can't go do anything. So that's where it's not that they don't want to help out the citizens, we're still willing to go do what we need to do if they need help. But I just don't want to be, or I shouldn't say they don't want, and maybe I'm speaking for them and I shouldn't be either, but the comments that I've heard is they just don't want to be on a schedule. So, does that answer?
Thank you.
Yep.
I think we should thank the fire department personnel that made an effort on this program.
Definitely. Next on the agenda is a resolution to declare the fire engine surplus property.
This resolution would authorize the city to declare the fire engine as surplus, and we have a couple of options available to us for disposal of the fire engine. There was discussion of selling it. There was also a conversation about donating it to another department, either in the county, close to the county, or someplace in the state of Iowa, et cetera. We don't have a specific proposal for that. We wanted to, first of all, start with the direction from the council. Regardless of what we do, if we're going to dispose of it in any manner, you'd have to declare it as surplus property. That would open the doors to whatever form of disposal that we would undertake.
I think the conversation at the public safety meeting was that there are a lot of fire departments that this truck would be a tremendous benefit to them, that, you know, as far as our needs, it had kind of reached its maximum, but for a small community, for what we could get selling it and the hassle we go through of selling it, but the last time we tried to sell a truck, we didn't have the best of luck in the process. So that we just thought good public relations, and there are a lot of small departments that this would really help them. They're using equipment that really shouldn't even be used. So we thought the county, surrounding counties, and we kind of expand out once the notice has been made. Anybody else on the committee, did I kind of?
No, I agree. And that was our thought. Primarily in the county if we can, and then to the counties outside our county if possible after that. I mean, it's still a very good usable truck, when you say, Dick? For a smaller county?
I have traveled around the state as an instructor for the Bureau, and there are departments out there that are in dire need of a good usable truck. One thing that I do want to caution, though, is how are you going to decide
Determine who gets the truck, yeah.
You're going to start with Buchanan County first and work out, and I agree with that. And I don't want to, what if you've got 2 towns in the county that want the truck? How are you going to decide between those two towns? That's something you got to think about. I think it would be like I said, good PR.
Well, good life-saving help.
Yep, so that's a decision, though, that you'll have to say, how are you going to do it fairly and make sure that you're keeping everybody, you're not just pulling a name out of a hat, and that may be what it has to come down to. But,
yeah.
So, yeah, might have flipped a coin, whatever.
Yeah.
But it is a concern that if you've got, and you will have multiple towns that are going to be sending in requests for it. You will be. I mean, especially if they think they can get a free truck, they're going to be doing it. What are your criteria, and how are you going to go about deciding?
Would there be a possibility they could list their inventory of their trucks as far as age and?
Absolutely. You could do it similar to,
capabilities?
if they're going to write a grant, AFG, if they're going to write a grant for the Community Foundation, if they're going to write a grant for the Black Hawk Gaming, or if they're going to write a grant, they've got to detail their financial statement, what they've got for equipment, and they've got to do all that. So that would be definitely one of the things I think you would want to require.
I would say something like that, at least make it a better decision.
And then,
Yeah.
You
got some criteria to base your decision on then.
Hmm?
You got criteria to base.
Right.
What would be the idea of keeping it, like Fred said, though, and using it, like, every year that campground floods out. I don't know if anybody in here camps down there, but when it floods, it'd be nice to have that hose down. The playground equipment in the park down here gets flooded out. Kids shouldn't go play in that stuff until it's cleaned off.
That sounds good, but what happens when you start spraying water on ground that's already muddy?
Well, you wait a few days.
But still, it's hard to wash it. I mean, washing it off streets is one thing, but trying to wash it off
without
just totally destroying the grass that's there
But the equipment.
isn't as easy.
The playground
you can-
equipment.
yep.
The downside to having an extra fire engine is where you're gonna store it
Yep.
and
Maintain
maintain.
it.
And if it's not getting used frequently, then
So
you've
what's a new
got
fuel
other
pump
issues
gonna
that
cost for that if
develop.
you don't use it?
I think it'd be better to let somebody have it that could really use it and appreciate it.
Is that a diesel, Dick, or gas?
Yes. Diesel.
Worst thing for a vehicle is sitting unused, because seals start drying out and everything else, you got a mess.
If you're using it cleaning roads down every once in a while, you wouldn't have that problem.
Before you committed to washing streets down, talk to Tim Donnelly. He told us he doesn't want to, because then you have the problem where you're washing all that stuff down into the storm sewers, and then you gotta have them come in to suck that out. So that is viable. To keep it to wash streets down, I don't think that is the direction that, what I'm understanding from Tim, and I don't wanna put words in his mouth, but
It's gonna
that
rain
was a
and wind
concern
up
he had.
there. It'll rain and wind up there anyway. Keeping it out of the storm sewer, pretty much impossible.
Well, there's other ways of cleaning it up other than washing it off the sewer or letting the rain wash it down.
I will tell you, I think that not that it isn't a good idea, but you have your insurance that you have to maintain, the upkeep on the vehicle. But more importantly, are there other people that could make use of it? That, I think you talked about life-saving
Yeah.
events. Are there other departments in need? And I think we would be better off putting the truck into service for what it was designed for in a place that there is a need for it. Because we don't want to just continue looking for storage then for equipment in general.
You look at a small department.
Where's
you
that
may not
right
be
now?
able to come up with 300,000 to $500,000 to furnish.
Sitting outside of the city shop area.
I'd like to see us put it up for bids, just to prioritize. Then we don't have to make the decision. So sealed bids, the person with that has the highest bid gets the truck. You can do it for fire departments, you can give top priority to in-county fire departments, and then counties that border on Buchanan, and then open it up to statewide, or however we want to set it up. But at least then, we don't have to be the people that have to decide and spend a bunch of time going through criteria and all this. It just comes down to
I think there's
who wants it
restrictions
the
on what
worst.
we can do with city-owned equipment though, isn't there? Can we put covenants on it, like only to fire departments? I don't think we can. I think it has to be open to the public.
I think as long as you have a reasonable criteria that's fair to everybody within the scope of that criteria, you can set your criteria. I think you could certainly say that, you know, it would be Buchanan County and the surrounding counties, and you could also direct city staff to come up with a reasonable criteria for people to fill out. In other words, a bid sheet that basically says this is why we think we're the ones that should get it. You know, we have a need for it. We don't have a good truck right now. This is what our budget is. They send in all that criteria, and then the city staff can decide who it goes to, and then the council could approve it. You know, I mean, you could do it in two stages. I mean, Al could come back with a sort of a bid sheet with this is what we would recommend. Here are the questions we want them to answer. Here's the information we'd want them to submit, and if you guys think that's good, then you could approve that, and then you could go to step 2 and let the staff go ahead and put it out and let everybody bid on it.
Mike, when you talking about.
I don't want to speak for Al, but that's just the thought that, I've seen it done that way, and I don't think that's illegal. But you do need to have this objective criteria, and if you had one sheet that everybody gets and has to fill out, then I think you've got that.
When you was talking about the bidding process, you was talking about paying for it or just giving it to someone?
Paying for it.
You can do it either way. You can sell surplus property.
Maybe we should go that route and see what we get, price-wise in Buchanan
Like I said, you
County.
can open it up to, I think you could probably set it as fire department takes precedence or priority. So that if you get bids from fire departments, you go through those and you accept that. If no fire department bids on it, but you got private individuals that bid on it, then you go that route. But the fire department would open, those would be priority to where, as an example, if the fire department bids $500 for it, but a private individual bids $1,500 for it, still go to the fire department. I don't know if that's.
That would be a very good
kosher.
idea.
Then
Fire
it
department's
kinda
always
takes
need
some-
money, so it'd be a little way to get a little extra cash.
Dick, if you do go that route, let's do this for sure. Make sure that truck is the way you want it to go out the door.
It will be before pictures go out, before anything goes out, we will have everything offered that the fire department needs. or-
Thank you.
10-4 on
That's a definite,
A detailed description of what they're getting.
yeah.
And we could also set the criteria at the next public safety meeting in April.
Once you declare it as surplus property, we can go through that process
Sure.
of disposal however the council would like to. But the first step, obviously, is to declare the surplus property.
Whether we sell it or give it away.
Right, if you decide you want to have more conversation about gifting it versus selling it, that's fine. We can have that conversation. We still have to go through the declaration of surplus property.
Well, we probably know it's not gonna bring big money, but it would be a little money for your guys' department.
I kind of look at it, $500 or $1,000 is not going to make or break our budget. For a small town, that can be a real budget thing, and we keep filling out grants, and we're getting grants from, different places and stuff, and I think it's kind of a pass it forward thing. If we can help out another community,
Our budget got down to $500 for Wild Thunder. We couldn't even hardly come up with that money to give them, so $500 or $1,000 does mean something.
Well, I suggest we go ahead and make it surplus property, and as we said before, we can continue this discussion what route we go, but we gotta do that before we can do anything.
And I do not have a motion or a second.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second
Motion
it.
from Scharf, second by O'Laughlin. Any other discussion as far as making a surplus
Thank you, Dick.
property? Okay, roll call.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes?
Hill,
Yes.
Scharf,
Yes.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Hannah.
Yes.
Thank you, the motion's carried. We'll figure out the rest of it afterwards, I
And then
guess.
we do have coming up on next week, so it's not a long wait, a Public Safety Committee meeting. Is there any objection to having that conversation on the committee agenda as to
Well, that sounds good.
which way we go?
Yeah, I'm willing to go with whatever the other two, because I'm not going to be here, so.
Whatever Denny and I come up with.
Well, maybe we should be discussing the government finance meeting too.
We can have that conversation at, either way. I just want to make sure that we're all comfortable having further conversation.
Sure.
And I did know that.
Okay, next on the agenda is the public officials bond, and we got information just today on this.
I wanted to share with the council that we were trying to get just a little bit more information, and this afternoon, I got an email from Tim Butler at ICAP. He talked about the bids, or the quotes that we got was for the public office bond, which covers individuals to faithfully perform the job. There is another one that we just found out about this afternoon. It's called the Public Official Schedule Bond, which would cover the same things as the public officials bond. The difference is this would be one bond covering multiple job titles, multiple individuals, all covered by the same obligee, which would, in this case, be the city. But then we'd be looking at positions, not individual people. So if individual positions change, we're not going back out for more bond quotes and reapplying, et cetera. This would cover the city and those individuals that you identify more as a blanket coverage. John Evers did receive a quote for that very late this afternoon, early evening, but I do not have that. I was looking for it here tonight, but I don't have that number for you. If the council would be gracious enough to give us until the next council meeting, we can bring that back for your consideration. I don't know how much of a difference in cost there might be, as much as I think it would be a more appropriate bond for what we're trying to cover.
I don't mean to be smart aleck, but is this ICAP's recommendation?
This is not a recommendation one way or the other. They just threw this out here. This is the first I heard of the public official schedule bond.
I guess ICAP gave us some less than good advice previous. Maybe if the city attorney could compare them too.
I would really like to see exactly what they're covering before we accept any bid. I want to see it spelled out. I want to
And
see
any caps in place.
misfeasance, malfeasance, and any other errors.
True.
And I do agree that it should be by position versus individual, because the positions can change.
Right.
And I think it would save us a lot in the long run. And a lot of time-consuming paperwork.
Yes,
Right.
and I'd agree with that. So I will ask them to give us the specifics.
So do we need a motion to table this?
I would ask for a motion to table it until the next meeting.
So moved.
Motion by O'Laughlin.
Second.
Second by Scharf. Does this need a
Yes.
roll call?
Sorry, catching up. Kurtz,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes.
Hill, Scharf,
Yes.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Hopefully, we will have that information for the next meeting, put it on, should be able to have that by then.
Could I recommend maybe the Finance Committee, Government Performance Committee compare these and recommend back to us?
We have a meeting on
Monday.
Monday, right?
Will you have information for them by then, hopefully?
I hope so.
Okay.
Can't imagine an insurance agent not right beating the past.
Yeah.
or selling the power line.
I agree with you. Next on the agenda is the police department grant, requesting permission to apply for a community foundation grant to assist in acquisition of equipment for the department.
Have you applied for this grant before?
No, we have not. It's the first time we've ever done this.
Okay.
So I've had Katie start with the whole process. Officer Cass and I have been working with her, and we've kind of put everything together. This grant, like I say, we're looking to submit the application for the grant. We're looking for 2 ballistic shields, 4 entry toolkits, 7 bolt cutters, 7 pry bars, and then 2 rechargeable jump packs for jumping cars or if they need to be. Main purpose for these items is protect the officers while trying to gain entry into a building or a vehicle. Is our hope that the equipment, we hope that this equipment is only used in training situations. We hope we never actually have to use it, but it's better that we have it and have the ability to use it than not have it and then have the need for it. If we, like I said, we need to gain entry into a building, that's what the shields would be very helpful. We're trying to get up to the building. The entry kits itself would be helpful to get into a building. If it's a glass window or glass door, that's pretty simple, but if it's a solid metal door, getting into one with the stuff that I carry on my day-to-day basis, it's gonna be pretty difficult, so.
To go along with that, Dustin, I know a lot of the larger communities have a program where they have what they call Knox boxes, where it's a special key box that they have an entry key stored in that Knox box. It's the name of the company that makes it, I think, is Knox. But firefighters and police officers are having access to that key to open that box to get a key out, so you're not doing terrible damage to especially a business trying to get into. It wouldn't apply to residences, but it does to businesses. And I know Waterloo does it. I don't know if they do any other communities, but
I can look
it
into
makes
it.
a lot of sense because guys can be pretty aggressive with pry bars.
No, we can.
And a business, if you've got that accessibility, save a lot of damage.
So, yeah, I can
It's
look
something to
into
look
it.
into. But I like the idea of having the equipment. It makes sense.
Does, I see under, it says other funding, and it says other funding sources, donation. Then it has 2 agencies. What agency is that?
2 agencies?
Yeah, it says, other funding amount, 1940, and then it says agency secured. And then it says 143455, agency secured. I wonder why that's
I would
different
have to
than a
ask Katie
donation.
that one. I'm not quite sure what she put into all that. She's the one that's filled it all out, so.
But just, that's not the city
No.
kicking that in, is
With
it?
this grant, we'd have to, or whatever we would be, if we would be able to get the grant, whatever they would give us, we'd have to have the match to it,
Yeah,
so.
yeah, and that's what I see here, and I see you got some donations, but there were,
Some donations and what is not donations we'd have to match, either by our forfeiture account or whatever we would have.
yeah, just wondered what the agency was.
So this would not be a budget item, that the match would not be a budget item we would have?
Just depends on wherever we could get the match from. We have money in our forfeiture account for it, or maybe our CIP, because I did have money in our CIP to put equipment into the squad car. So if we have funding in there for that, we could.
If you get approved for the grant and you don't have funding in any one of those, then you don't have to accept the grant?
As far as I understand, yes.
Okay.
I think this is nice, Katie went to the meeting, put this together with the officers. I guess I'd make the motion to approve this request.
I'd second it.
See, does this have to be a motion to do that? Okay, it wasn't written on the agenda for,
We
as a
we
motion.
would like a motion because we are providing a match.
Okay. Motion by Hill, second by Lockman, right, to approve applying for the Community Foundation grant
So till we get it, we don't know what the match is.
Any
do
other
we?
discussion?
No, we won't know until we actually know what, if we get it, so.
Any other discussion? You need a roll call on this also?
Yeah, we're spending money or authorizing the expenditure of money, so I'd like a roll call.
Go for it.
Hayward,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Sharp,
Yes.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes,
Vaughn,
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
Thank you, motion is carried. We are down to reports. Departments. Dick, did you have anything for the fire department? Is he still back there? You're always hidden, so I never know if you're here or not.
We hide behind the monitors there, so you don't see where it's there. The only thing I've got is we did take delivery of the new fire truck, as we talked about disposing the old one, so we do have one in place. It's up and ready and operational, so looking good.
Haven't
I want
used
to
it
thank
yet,
the city and the council for bringing us that truck in there. It's a nice truck, so.
My son-in-law from Altoona wanted to know if we got a discount because God said fire trucks are supposed to be red. He's on the Altoona Fire
Yeah,
Department.
we hear that a lot. Yep. The reps will always bring in demos for us to take a look at, and they're always red, and we always tell them that, and they just kind of laugh at us, so. There are other departments out there that have white trucks too, but we're rare.
I told him we were listening to God. They weren't.
That's right. There you go. That's all I've got. Anybody got any other questions? So, all right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dick.
Thanks, Dick.
Dustin, did you have anything else for the police department?
No, just approving our grant.
Okay. I don't see any other department heads. Council committees, anything? I don't think we've had committee meetings since our last one.
I've got something I need to have added to our finance committee meeting for Monday. The Wapsie watershed has a questionnaire that we need to go through and fill out and return to the watershed committee. So I'm going to need some input, especially from city staff.
You said it's a survey or a questionnaire?
It's a questionnaire.
I sat on the Pathway Advisory Board last week, but nothing out of the ordinary.
I did attend the senior centers meeting they had this month, just last week.
And they were very pleased.
I'm sure they were. They've got a lot of work to do. I mean, there's a lot of changes, a lot of confusion. It was an interesting meeting. So, I mean, a lot of frustration from the people on the board, but they did vote to let me stay, come back again. So I guess that's one good thing. I didn't do a bad enough job that they told me never to return, so. Any other committees that anybody sits on, or? Okay. John, I'm going to let you start then as council meeting. Since you spoke up first for the committee, I'm going to let you, as we go around.
Nothing else to add.
You had your chance. Mike, anything?
I don't have anything.
Okay. Bob?
I don't have anything.
Carl?
Well, I just had a couple, well, actually one thing, but had a couple calls and we got to start being courteous people. We walking our dogs more than we did before. Gentleman stopped me just on the way over here, and for the most part, I see everybody doing their job with their little doggy bags and pooper chutes and stuff. But be courteous and kind to everybody. And I had a couple calls. They said there was a bunch of dogs, bigger dogs running around. It was in the northeast part of town. I don't know if anybody else has gotten any calls on that or not. They were unleashed, and their owners weren't with them. I don't know if we got deputy dog going around, or I don't know what's going on. But anyway, if I didn't mean to be funny, Bob, but
White dogs in my front yard?
well, you know, I never thought about your dogs, John. But
They don't leave the yard.
and they weren't tearing up anything like that. It was just that they'd seen the dogs and they were unleashed. And but for the most part, I think I've seen people this year particularly much better than last year. And I know they walk their dogs all the time, and I'm seeing more equipment as they go along. So keep it up. Good work.
So when they talked about them being unleashed, were they running loose in
Yes.
the town that wasn't like on somebody's property? Because don't you sometimes have a fence?
We have a
hidden fence, and so they're unleashed, but they don't leave your yard.
Well,
They're still.
There's been a chocolate lab running around our neighborhood.
Okay.
Somebody in your neighborhood picked up 40-some piles of crap in their yard, so it is.
did?
Some neighbor in your area, so it is a problem.
I had a bunch of it when the snow melted.
Well,
So this could be from a dog that's just running loose, it doesn't, it
Yeah.
isn't
Or
owned,
dogs, not.
or more than one, okay.
Free fertilizer.
Not sure I'd be interested, but
Lawnmowers
Just
don't.
talk
are you
about
aware of this?
The lab that he's talking about, if I remember, if it's the right one, the same one we've been chasing around for a while, doesn't live in town. Actually lives out in the country and comes into town because the people in town feed the one that's running around. So we actually have one that comes in. We've picked it up a couple of times, especially up by the hospital and in that area. So it's probably the same one. So we're aware of it, and if we ever get a call, we know who it belongs to. We usually pick it up right away.
So are they paying a fine for it?
We take it out to Pipestone, and they got to pay a fee to get the dog out to the city, and then also to Pipestone for everything. So
Okay,
yeah.
Good.
sounds like
Thanks,
the
Justin.
item. Thank you, that's all I had.
I think that was an age comment though, Carl, on deputy dogs.
That's right.
Some people wouldn't know what that means.
I seen it in Seek Fortune magazine or something from years ago.
It was a cartoon.
Oh, that's why it was a cartoon. Okay, Bob.
Anything else?
No, I'm fine.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mike, do you have anything?
Just glad the snow's over. My hat's off to the city street department. They did a heck of a job with the amount of snow we had in the last 30 days. It was phenomenal. And just hoping we don't end up with the same kind of wet weather that the western part of the state has.
For sure. Deb?
And it looks like they're trying to do a good job fixing the potholes if they can. That's it.
Definitely was a lot of those, wasn't there? Denny?
Never get.
Not a thing.
Okay. Gina?
I don't have anything.
Al?
The only thing I'd let you know is we are going to start advertising for bids on the airport taxiway project. The next meeting, you'll be setting a public hearing. By April, you'll be considering bids. So that's moving ahead. That should be an interesting project to widen the taxiway and provide some more access for commercial hangar expansion. And it's obvious, Councilman Scharf, that the big dogs live in the northeast part of the city.
The big dogs live in the northeast.
Well, I suppose maybe we should think about licensing those big dogs. And licensed by the pound.
That's all I have, Mayor.
Very good, Al.
Okay.
I got a question. Well, is the railing gonna be painted black that we have on the new, I see there's some welding spots and other things on,
Yes, when the weather warms up, they're coming back in, they have the punch list items
Sure.
that they need warmer weather for. But yes, it is. They also have, a little bit of grinding and touch-up work, and then they'll paint that, and some grouting, if you will, on the steps.
Welding.
And on that fact, I am enjoying that ramp, I'll tell you. I wish there was more people that were using it, that would be coming to the council or to the city hall, attending our meetings, or just visiting for the changes we've made and see that it does work. Other than that, I don't have anything else, unless our attorney would have something. He had to be here longer than the
No,
last time.
the only thing I was going to mention is that Mitch Dallas is going to the Iowa Code Enforcement Officers Seminar on April 11th, which is basically a code enforcement seminar. Hope to bring back something good at that. And then also on May 15th is the League's Nuisance Abatement Seminar. And we're also speaking at that, Steve and me and Greg. And so hope to bring back some good material from that. And
Okay,
it will be of benefit to the community, hopefully, so.
very good. Well, you did so good, you're invited to come back when you need to.
Thank you.
I would ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Scharf, second by
yeah.
Kurtz. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried.
That was a nice.